Alright, YouTube, CIA Director Brennan confirmed as reporter Michael Hastings' next target. We all remember Michael Hastings was the journalist, the reporter, who tragically and mysteriously died in a car crash. Totally accidentally, went out of control for no apparent reason, and his car blew up and the engine flew like 200 feet straight out in front of it. Because he hit a palm tree, but the palm tree wasn't damaged mysteriously very much, so we're not exactly sure how that happened. And I've got major allergies right now, so bear with me. But apparently, and this was just posted, the link is in the description of the story, by San Diego 6, a mainstream media outlet, nonetheless, not appearing on, some secondhand site or some conspiracy forum, actual media, that he was about to write an expose on the CIA Director Brennan, which is strange. So it looks like the CIA had Hastings killed. And of course, those of us who saw the footage at the time he got killed, the footage appeared online not long after, figured that he was probably killed by somebody. I mean, it doesn't make sense that he would call WikiLeaks' lawyer, say he's being followed by the FBI, he's got a big story, he's really excited, all these things are happening at once, and then magically he just dies. It also never made sense. His car clearly exploded before he hit the palm tree, if he was even alive at the time he hit it. And they've analyzed the film, the footage of the actual impact, which there are several different camera angles of that crash, and the experts saying that he was going about 35, 40 miles an hour at the time. Now everyone else is saying, well, he must have been going 120 to do that damage to the car. And actually, if you look at additional footage of the car actually burning, and there's this dude trying to spray the fire out with a garden hose. It's the funniest thing it's tragic, but it really is kind of funny that he's sort of pissing in the river with this little garden hose trying to put out the fire. You don't see a lot of damage to the fender. You'd expect to see quite a lot more damage, as in the car should be literally wrapped around the tree if it smashed into it at 100 miles an hour plus. You don't see that. The type of car he was driving is rugged, but it's not quite that rugged. It's certainly not an armored Humvee or something like that. But it looks like he was killed by the CIA. And this isn't really a surprise to some of us. Some of us figured basically as soon as it came out, and I'm actually pulling up a file here also, so bear with me, figured that he would be, that he had been killed by some group. It wasn't exactly clear which one. Of course, he said he was being followed by the FBI. Could he have mistaken the CIA for the FBI? Possibly. I've got a copy here of something that was deposited on WikiLeaks. Something for internal use here that they didn't want people to see, lo and behold. On Monday, February 27, 2012, WikiLeaks began publishing the global intelligence files, over 5 million emails from the Texas-headquartered global intelligence company Stratfor. The emails date between July 2004 and late December 2011. They reveal the inner workings of a company that fronts as an intelligence publisher but provides confidential intelligence services to large corporations such as Bhopal's Dow Chemical Company, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon, and government agencies, including the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the U.S. Marines, and the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency. The emails show Stratfor's web of informers, payoff structure, payment laundering techniques, and psychological methods. And look at what this says. This is the content of the email. Brennan is behind the witch hunts of investigative journalists learning information from inside the Beltway sources. So it's Brennan and the CIA doing it, basically. No, there is a specific tasker from the White House to go after anyone printing materials negative to the Obama agenda. Oh my. Even the FBI is shocked. The Wonder Boys must be in meltdown mode. I'm not sure whether Wonder Boys refers to the CIA, FBI, or the Obama administration. So you've got internal emails clearly stating that Brennan is the one behind targeting these people. And let's not mince words here, the CIA is known to have assassinated journalists and other individuals before, and the CIA, by the way, since its inception has been used for propaganda to discredit people who happen, I'm going to adjust this slightly, discredit people who happen to disagree with whatever governing forces are in power. We know that this is the case. It's clearly the case. We know it. It's not an opinion. We know the CIA has assassinated people before. So why would people look at this issue and say an internal email is clearly implicating Brennan as the one that's doing these things to begin with? This man is targeting Brennan. Well, what do you think happened? It wouldn't make any sense for anything else to have happened. What? He just mysteriously died going after one of the most powerful people on earth. And by the way, anyone who says that the president is the most powerful person on earth doesn't know what they're talking about. The heads of some of these surveillance outfits are much more powerful than the president because they could blackmail the president easily. They just say, oh, check his email. I bet there's loads of goodies in there. They're talking to McCain about swapping wives for a day or something like that. You never know. We know the CIA has done things like this before. We know that they've made people's brakes fail and their cars go out of control and people have been poisoned. Look at MK Ultra. Not that the mind control aspect of it ever was successful, but clearly people were poisoned with illegal substances then at the time to prove a point, to try to develop some new mind control technology. The CIA is one of the dirtiest outfits on the face of the earth. It makes perfect sense that they would target somebody like Hastings, who's going after these people left and right and exposing what they're doing to the world. So the facts are all there. Number one, he wasn't really careening out of control. He was going at a fairly reasonable speed. Number two, anybody who's seen the footage of the crash knows that his car exploded before he hit the damn tree. Anybody who's seen footage of the aftermath knows that his car really, logically speaking, was not damaged enough to have been going anywhere near 100 miles an hour. Internal emails show that Brennan's, the CIA director, is the one who's responsible for targeting the sort of journalists like Hastings that are going after the Obama administration or any of the surveillance state outfits. And Hastings was about to write an expose on Brennan, and there's going to be a piece in Rolling Stone, apparently, about that very issue not too long from now. So it could be that the lid is off already, and we're just basically sitting back and watching the very first domino fall as the mainstream media slowly gets forced to release this information. Now, the goal is as much information on this subject as possible goes into the public eye on Twitter. It's already on Twitter. It's on San Diego 6. A few other sites have taken it up, putting it on YouTube, Facebook, and everything else. Eventually, the mainstream media, and this is a tactic people have used, has to write a story about it if there's that much public outcry, not because they want to, but simply because they've got to save face. And they'll put some puck job story on there and probably put in something about crazy conspiracy theorists, but it'll still be there for the public to consume. But it looks fairly clear. It looks like Brennan had Hastings killed. That's what it appears to be. You can't prove it right away. Of course, more evidence may come out in the future, but it looks like that's probably what happened. Like, reasonable people will look at it and say, yeah, it looks like he was whacked by the CIA. That's about all. Peace out.